I can remember him laying there at Good Samaritan suffering with bone cancer and Parkinson's. And his wife would be against his side saying, talk to me, talk to me. But he couldn't. He succumbed to life. He succumbed to his pain. And I remember going to the funeral. And the pastor made a big point about what the nurses had said about my grandfather. They said no matter what pain he was in, no matter how hard he was, he would smile. He would smile. I'm speaking of my grandfather, Maitland Smith, who was a real person of mine. So what's a hero to you? Is it a famous sports star? A rock musician? Maybe a movie star? Or is it a brother or a sister? Is it a teacher? Is it a soldier? Or how about a church leader? In March of 2001, a year after we lost Seth, I was in Phoenix working for John Deere. And I went to a Methodist church. And I'll never forget the reverend's name was Buzz Stevens. And I thought, he's got to be pretty cool if his name is Buzz, right? So he asked everybody, what's a hero? And you know what his explanation was? You are not claimed a hero in your passing, but it's what you do in your living. It's what you do when you're here on earth while you're alive, not while you're dead. That's what makes you a hero. You probably have heroes in this room that you don't even know. We lost our son and Seth and two other great brothers. And I call them his brothers, Chris Stahl and Chris Albright. October 15th in 2001 in an accident. Probably most of you, if you didn't even know Seth, you probably remember that. But after the visitations and everything, and Betty and I, we got multitudes of cards, condolences. And I'll remember Betty forced me to read one. I couldn't hardly read any of them, but she made me do this one. It seems that Erica and Seth were at a 4-H basketball game, much like this in Cambridge. Seth had a runaway basket, ready to make a layup. And he turned around, and there was a little boy right behind him. And he stopped. And he turned around, and he gave the ball to him. Sorry, get ready. But he stopped. He could have done the runaway basket and done it and made the big hero, but no, he stopped. And he gave it to that little boy, and that boy made the basket. Seth never knew that he was a hero to that little boy. He never knew it, but he was. There's another story. Seth and a friend of his, and I think it might have been Grant, but they were walking down the sidewalk in Geneseo. And they came upon a little girl that had fallen on her bicycle and the chain had come off. So Seth stopped and helped her fix her bike, and off she went. He was a hero to that little girl, and he never knew it. It was years away, along the way after that, I should say, that mother contacted us and told us about that story. I've been fortunate with a lot of heroes in my life. I'm a firm believer, and no matter how you think life is for you, I will guarantee you, and you don't have to go very far, that somebody's got it worse than you got it. This individual was called to John Deere for work one day. Hurry up, you got to get home. He got to the trailer court in Kelowna to see his trailer inflamed with his wife and two children perishing. Even after that horrific tragedy, he was the first one to be there when Seth got killed to help us. He remarried to a beautiful late Nancy, and she's on her 6th time fighting cancer. 6th time. He lost his first family, now he's fighting that. And his son has Tourette's syndrome. You think he got it rough? Dwayne Dosa is a hero of mine. This man was a pastor, a teacher, and a friend of mine at Grace Church. And he was there immediately when Eric and I got back from the softball game. And he told me, he says, we can't do anything about what happened. We can't do a thing. We have to focus on how we go from there. Now, do you think that's what I really wanted to hear? No, it wasn't. But it was profound. What a Christian leader and my friend. Passed away now, but my hero, Reverend Ron Webb. There was an individual at Harvester Works where we were working, and this gentleman went down the steps at Harvester Works, and he said, you know, I lost a son in an accident too, and I didn't know that. It's not something you just go to everybody you see, right? But he said, God will put people in place that will help you with this. People will get you through this. Again, didn't really want to hear that. But you know what? That's one of the most profound things that I use to people now when they lose somebody. God's going to help you get through it. One of the most powerful words I've ever heard from Charlie Fowler. He's a hero of mine. This young man made a promise to my son Seth. He said, I'll play soccer, but you got to play baseball. Right? And he's here. I know he's here. Even though Seth couldn't fulfill his promise, this young man did. Brandon Martins, you're a hero of mine. These great men were best friends of my son Seth. They were both in the car, and thank God they survived the accident. They're both here today. They've been through a lot. First, they lost their best friend, but they continued to go through life and become good Christian husbands and fathers and husbands. We've got beautiful families. Two great young heroes of mine, my adopted sons, Grant and Tim. Heroes of mine. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was at the visitation for Seth. And I looked over there in the middle of the rows of seats. There was a young boy and his mom. And there was a break in the line. I don't know how it was. Like Kathleen said, the place was packed and everybody, I mean, it was just unbelievable. But there was a gap. And this young man came up and he says, you know what, Dave, we're going to fix his car. We're going to fix his car, his Camaro. And I told him that, you know what, you're going to take it to prom. Before the accident, Seth and I were restoring that Camaro that he bought with his own money. We had the interior off of it, we had the engine off of it, and then the accident happened. And I couldn't look at it for about 3 years. But thanks to a multitude of my friends, and Jake and Grant and Tim, those boys took that car to prom. Who says young people can't be heroes? Jake Ward, you're a hero of mine. This lady she was there for the girls right away, along with a lot of other people at high school. We couldn't be where we're at without her today, and she's here. Her license plate says, "Helped Kids." How cool is that? How fitting a huge hero is she. Vicki Bailey, you're a hero of mine. This young man is a great youth leader in our community. He's never afraid to profess his faith on his job, whatever he's doing. He left a sportcaster position to go to FCA. And I'm sure people thought, what? But he knew where he had to go. He knew what the call was. A wonderful husband, a father, a grandfather. And both him, Dan Pierce, and his wife, Gina, your heroes. This guy grabbed me. He grabbed me at the way out of the Chris Stahl's funeral. And he smiled at me. And he said a simple statement. He said, "Isn't it great to believe? Isn't it great to believe? I just went through a young boy's funeral. Isn't it great to believe?" I ran into him a while back after that. And he came and he told me, he says, "You know what? It won't be very long before we get to see him again. Think about what's gone the last 10 years. How fast has it gone by? We're only here for a speck." Not, again, what I wanted to hear right then, but profound words. What a great witness and a hero of mine, Jeff Kincaid. None of us would be here today without these three heroes of mine. After Seth's accident, we didn't know what to do with the memorials and things like that. But we know we wanted to give back to kids. We wanted to do something for kids. And in 2006, Diana and Greg Ogle and Kathleen Repass met with the cafeteria here in the high school, and they said, how about a tournament? Cool. After 15 years, see where we're at? They're right here. They're heroes. Every great organization has a great leader, right? And I'm not going to go politics, but the Seth Ernst Memorial Soccer Slam is no exception. This wonderful person knew Seth way before a lot of you have, because she worked at the Learning Tree Daycare, where Geneseo Daycare is now, years and years ago, and that's where Seth and Erica went. She is tireless, she's organized, and she loves kids and all of us. We love her so much, our hero, Jill DePowell. This couple lost their son, Trevor, in November of 17 after a fight with cancer, and we all remember that. But Lori and Tony have created the Trev Strong Blood Drive every May in Trevor's memory to help hundreds of people for blood donations. Tony and Lori, you're heroes of mine. This couple also lost their young son at an accident in July of 18. But people have rallied with them, and they've created the Eric Dietrich Memorial 8th grade basketball tournament. How cool. A wonderful way to keep Eric's memory alive, alive, and it's just doing well. They're going to expand even next year. Shane and Joyce Dietrich, thanks for being heroes of mine. Medea, Larry, Tarek, Jason, Nicole, John, Tracy, Yvonne, Israel, and their coach, Tony. Most of all, God has blessed us with long, strong bodies, right? For the most part. But for one reason, these people are stuck into a wheelchair. But I'm telling you, these are the most loving, funny, and smart people you'd ever meet in the whole world. Of course, I'm talking about our Strive soccer team, who could not be here today because of COVID. But we love them so much. The wheelchairs don't stop them, and I love them so much. Strive team. If you're really successful in life, you need people that help you through the way, right? My parents were very hard workers and established the morals that we needed. I love my parents so much. And huge heroes of mine. Dad took unbelievable care of my mom when she was suffered from rheumatoid arthritis for years. And Mom, like her dad, my grandfather, never complained, although in pain every day. I love you, Dad. I was also blessed to have wonderful in-laws, beautiful, God-loving people. And the best thing is they gave me their daughter. Bill and Ann Grahams are heroes of mine. Now, without these three, I wouldn't be able to be here today. She's put up with me for almost 40 years. Some people say sainthood is in line. And shown more courage than anyone I would ever fathom. A wonderful wife and mother. My girls, Eric and Megan, they had to grow up way too soon. They moved through tragedy, and boy, they continue to soar. They're both teachers, wonderful wives, and mothers. And these three I couldn't do without them. Betty, Eric, and Megan, my biggest heroes. Every day we have opportunities, don't we, to be a hero for somebody? All you got to do is look for it, right? Who's on your list of heroes? Listen to these questions carefully. How many of you plan to live forever? Show hands. Maybe that's a trick question. How many of you plan to live here on earth forever? Still nobody. A little bit of an exercise. I want you to take a long look around the room and take a good look at the people around you. And I want you to do that right now. I want you quiet. Just look at people. Just look. Okay. Can anyone now guarantee me that you will see those person tomorrow? Can you? What are your plans after your short visit on earth? What's your plans? Let's think about September 11, 2001. Anybody remember that? What was the first thing you thought of when you saw or heard the news? What was the first thing? I know what mine was. Mine was, how many of the survivors, how many of the husband, wives, fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, grandpas, grandmas, how many of those people know that they were ready to meet the Lord? How many know? That's the first thing that scared me. Does dying in a tragedy, such as an accident like Seth, or September 11th guarantee you a ticket in heaven? Does it guarantee you a ticket in heaven just because you're a good person? We were planning the funeral for Seth with Reverend Webb. And here was my first question. Is Seth in heaven? I had to know. Is he in heaven? And Reverend Webb said, don't worry, Seth is with the Lord. He personally confessed to his faith and his church and to him. So I knew where Seth was. Seth doesn't talk a lot about that. A lot of times we don't, do we? It doesn't seem to be something we talk a lot about. We should, but we don't. But he had a deep relationship with God and Christ. God didn't create that tragedy in September 11th, nor did he cause that accident. But he lets us do decisions. He lets big, bad people do things to us, doesn't he? Why? I don't know. I don't know why. And sometimes these decisions that we make or we're in are tragic. God could have saved those boys from that accident, couldn't he? But he didn't. For some reason, their missions were on earth. It was done. Do we understand? No. But they were complete. Ours are still going. We have not completed ours yet. I remember at Chris Stahl's funeral, his youth leader gave a tremendous talk. I'll never forget it. He said, you know, if Chris could come back to earth, he wouldn't. Think about that. If he was in heaven, he wouldn't come back. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I'm not coming back. It's so cool here. Why would I want to come back? Profound words. Profound words. It's so great that he would not want to come back. The only way to that guarantee of life forever in heaven is through God's Son, Jesus Christ. Who believes on the Bible? God so loved the world, sing with me, say with me. God so loved the world so much that he gave his one and only Son, so that whoever believes in him may not be lost, but have eternal life. That's the only guarantee. So what's the matter? Are you too busy thinking about everything? Or maybe you don't know where to go. And I understand that. Maybe we need to talk to some people, work with some people, help. So are you too busy trying a super athlete? Is that where you're at? Totally exhausted chasing kids and grandkids? Yeah. Focused on that next promotion? Are you too busy trying to outdo the Joneses? Are you partying your life away? Are you on social media spreading negativity? Are you trying now to outdress the neighbor person? Are you focused on material things? Are you complaining about everything rather than trying to be a part of the situation, the solution? Are you fighting with a friend or a family member? What's your excuse for not thinking about it? Why are you too busy to think about it? Am I saying that you need to go to church every Sunday? You have to sign up for Bible study. You need to be a Sunday school teacher. You need to be in the choir. You need to be in FCA? Or you're going to hell? No, I'm not saying that. What I say is your ticket. You just need a relationship with Jesus Christ. Only you, and only you can do that yourself. Going to church, Bible studies, FCA, all those things, they can prepare you and get you in a good state, but they're not going to guarantee you a thing. They don't guarantee you anything. Just being a really cool person and a good person doesn't cut it. We never know. Someone around us is going to draw their last breath on this earth. We're never going to know. Question is, are you ready? Every day we wake up, we have a major decision to make. Am I going to be a hero for as many people as I can or not? So listen, are you ready to lead by example? Are you ready to smile even when the pain is excruciating? Are you ready to pass the ball and invite those around to go forward and not you? Are you ready to be leaders of youth at school, at your work, in your church? Are you ready to be a true friend and be a pillar of strength when needed? Are you ready to witness to those in grief and in their need? Are you ready to step out and talk about God at work or school? Are you ready to stop in the stairwells of life and take time to encourage someone who needs you? And tell them that you're praying for them? Are you ready to make someone a gift or send a card to lift their spirit? Something simple, something easy. Are you ready to live up to promises that you have made to others? Are you ready to fix the bicycles and cars that need repairing in everybody's lives? Are you ready to be the best friend you can be? Are you ready to help kids? Are you ready to grab someone and offer words of encouragement when they need you the most? Are we ready to focus on how we get from here? Where do we go? What's our plan? What's our route? I just recently saw a Snoopy cartoon, and Charlie Brown says, "We only live once, Snoopy." And Snoopy says, "Wrong. We only die once. We live every day. We live every day." Question to all of you is, are you ready to be a hero?